and gentlemen, welcome to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Crystal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all back with us for another illustrious episode of this here podcast. Now, we got some juicy stories to get into, and we're going to get straight to it. Crystal, if you would do the honors.
I will do the honors. Okay, so this is from Am I the Asshole? And it says, Am I the asshole for getting my father's affair partner fired after exposing her affair and the fact that she's an unmarried mother to the school she worked at?
God damn.
It's a lot happening in that title.
Yeah, I'm like, goodness gracious.
My mom and I found out in September that my father had been cheating on her for at least 5 years. How we know it was that long? He had 2 kids with her, and the oldest is 4. His affair partner is someone pretty well known. She made a name for herself for pushing Christian family values. She's been on local radio spewing hate for a lot of different people. I know someone who was her student before, and she was a real asshole to them all, always judging them for being in a private Christian school and not being Christian enough. She left her job for a while, and I guess that's when she had 2 kids. She started at a new school a couple of years ago, another Christian private school. When Mom and I found out who she was, we were very much in the W2F category. My father wanted me to give her a chance, and I told him, My father wanted me to give her a chance and to not hold the affair against him and get to know his family. But since I'm 17, he couldn't force me, and I told him I wanted nothing to do with him, her, or their kids. It bothered me so much that I ended up looking up the school she worked for, and I saw that they had a code of ethics for their teachers, and she violated it in 2 ways. 1 with their affair, and 2 with having kids before marriage. So I anonymously contacted the school and shared that info with them, and she ended up being fired. They didn't figure out I was the one who did it until last month when her appeal ended and she saw some of the evidence they had against her. Of course, they were angry and accused me of being awful and spiteful and think of the kids, blah, blah, blah. I really don't care what they think, and I love seeing that arrogant asshole knocked off her high horse. I don't feel bad, and even if they ended up homeless and in a shelter because of it, it's not my problem. But my aunt, who I was always super close to, sided with them on that. She said what I did was incredibly spiteful and it would have hurt the kids more than anyone if the consequences were homelessness or whatever. She told me I don't have to want anything to do with any of them, but shouldn't have gone so far.
Okay, girl, I was with you until the end. You said, girl, fuck them kids. I don't care if them kids sleeping on the curb. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a very, very young mindset. Okay. Let's pump the brakes.
I mean, she is 17 or he's 17. I don't think it's specified.
Exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a young mindset. Let's pump the brakes. Let's wait a minute. Because there was just that story, a couple weeks ago now of that family where the 2 kids, the family was houseless.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom had called the baby daddy to come get the kids. He was like, I ain't trying to hear all that noise. And then the kids ended up freezing to death in the car.
Yeah.
Houselessness is a very serious thing. Like, we can't just be throwing that type of stuff out there, girl. People be out there losing their lives, over being houseless.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you lost me. I was with you until you said that. Honestly, I feel like the children in this situation are innocent. It's crazy. They are a product of something that was not innocent, but they themselves and their existence are innocent. Bitch, they ain't asked to be here. Through your eyes, they came from a rotten seed from your fucking daddy. But they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. All they know, their whole lives is that's their mama and that's their trifling ass daddy. That's all they know. So we gonna leave the churn out of it. We gonna leave the churn out of it because they don't deserve that. Now, as far as I was about to. As far as a lady, why do I have to be mature about this? Me, I wouldn't have did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. For the livelihood of it all. This is me at this age now. Me
Yeah.
back then, I probably would have did. I probably would, but I feel like, and I feel so old when I say this, but they call it a child's place for a reason, and you should have stayed in it. You should have played your role and left it alone. You know what I'm saying? I get wanting to get some payback for that lady ruining your family or whatever. But at the end of the day, your daddy is the one that ruined your family. You know what I'm saying? We can't put it all on that lady. It takes two to tango, and in this situation, your daddy had the obligations. Your daddy had the commitment to uphold. Not that lady. That lady don't owe y'all a motherfucking thing. Okay. Um, at the end of the day, to be honest. Um, So if anything, you should have called up to that job and got your motherfucking daddy fired some way, somehow. You should have called OSHA, somebody. Because he sounded like he worked somewhere in the factory somewhere. Call OSHA and tell him that he sticking his dick in the cheese or something. Like, I don't get him fired. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like that the brunt got put on this lady when she don't owe y'all nothing. It's your daddy that owe y'all something. You know what I'm saying? I get through the grapevine that you ain't like this lady, whatever, because her being a teacher that people didn't like that don't have nothing to do with you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like if she didn't sleep with your daddy, that shit would have been irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been irrelevant. Her being a hypocritical Christian bitch, 3/4 of them are. You're not telling me anything new. You know what I'm saying? They all hypocrites. They go to church on Sunday, get the Lord's word, then come home and crack open a 40 and bust their wives over the head. Like, girl, we all know this. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is to me just an excuse, just a way for you to excuse what you did. Which at the end of the day, I think you know you was wrong to do it. To be honest, her consequence is her consequence, and you have to leave that for her to receive. So Loki, I'm with your on this one, girl. You shouldn't have did it. You shouldn't have. I get why you want to do it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it why you want to do it, but it just wasn't your place. It wasn't your place, and I don't think it was appropriate, to be honest. You know, you can personally cut her out of your life, do whatever you want to her personally, but now you stepping outside of the bounds of, you know, how it's going to personally affect you, and it's just, I don't know. Christy, give me your perspective. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. I don't know.
I see what you're saying, and a lot of people probably would agree with you. I'm not one of them. Me personally, I hate that narrative that says you can't blame the female when the guy had the obligation. Fuck that. If she didn't know, that's one thing, of course. But at some point, something happened. She must have found out something. Some point, I'm assuming. I can only assume, but I'm assuming with the way she's talking about this and the way this unraveled, this lady knew. She may not have made the vows, but morally, as a human being, you chose to participate in this man hurting his family this way. Fuck you. You deserve all the consequences in the world as someone who wants to preach the Christian values but not live by them. Also, calling the school and letting them know what is what. If there was a rule that was not being broken, she would have had no consequences against her. She went to specifically a Christian private school and broke their rules. You just brought it to light. I ain't mad at it. She wouldn't have got fired if she wasn't doing nothing wrong. I'm just saying. I'm sorry your little bastard kids got caught in the crossfire. That sucks. But maybe maybe you should have thought about that. Maybe you should have thought about that before you laid up with a married man. Just say. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not, but not. I agree with you. I agree with you. The kids have nothing to do with it, and if you don't want to have anything to do with them, that's fine. But for this 17-year-old person, like, I understand why you went about the way you did, and while I probably would have advised you, you know, I don't think I would have criticized you either, because at the end of the day, these are the consequences of your actions. Your actions just I just happen to be that consequence. I'm the one who's giving you the karma. Most people don't get to see it that way. You know, karma just happens and you just chalk it up to, oh, this could be karma. But no, I'm the karma. Karma has a face and a name, and it's your child.
But my thing is, like, it's not necessarily the fact that in itself that she brought to light that, you know, that the woman broke the rules of the school. But I feel like if somebody was to do that, it should have been her mom.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that it wasn't her place to do that. Like, if she had discussed it with her mom and be like, Mom, I think you should blah, 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 blah. Like, if you were the originator of the idea, cool. And your mom took it to the place it needed to be. But, like, as the kid in this situation, like, there's a lot of, your mom has a life experience to really think about it and be like, is this something that needs to happen? Right. You know what I'm saying? You at 17 years old, you don't have the context of, like, the job market out here is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And it's not only gonna affect her, it's gonna affect her kids. And for me, even though as you stated, I hate them little bastards. Okay. Off GP, you know, for being the byproduct of the worst shit that's happened in my life so far. You know, the dissolution of my family. But thinking of them as children, like, I would never want to put those kids in a situation where they're gonna have a parent that's struggling to feed them, or you know, their quality of life is gonna suffer. Yeah. Because I wanted this gratification, you know, of some way to get back at her. You know, I feel like she at 17, or he, whichever, at 17 years old, they don't have that frame of thought that the mama would have had.
Right. Know? But also, when you're the kid, if you're seeing your mama breaking down, losing, finding out her husband had all this isn't something I would want her to have to, because they did it anonymously, you know, hoping it would stay. The only reason why is because they got found out. But, you know, I probably wouldn't have want my mom to have to worry about this as well. You know, I'm taking this one for her. That's probably their mindset. I get it. Me personally, as the aunt or the mom or whatever, you know, this woman coming out here yelling and screaming, I would have defended my child and let them think that I was 100% on their side, and then brought my child and be like, okay, look, you little bastard, look what you did. You can't be acting this way, you know? But I also would understand, because when it's that phrase in a roundabout, hurt people. This is someone who is very hurt by these people's actions. And it's a revenge thing. So, like, I'm not faulting them for it. Is your actions an asshole thing in the grand scheme of thing? Probably. I'm not going to label it that, though, because, like I said, these are the consequences of their actions. You know, if they didn't want it to come about this way, they should have handled it. Because at the end of the day, they are also the adults. They're the ones who decided they were going to wait until they got found out. And then, instead of being understanding about the situation, then trying to force this relationship, like, oh, despite the fact that we did this, I want you to give this lady and these kids the chance. That probably just made the child even more heated. Like, what? You expect me to be okay with this against my mom? No.
Girl, I wish I was in the business of telling my business on here, because I'm telling you, I could speak to this damn near to the T, girl.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
But I'm not willing to put my business out there.
No.
So it's hard to give my perspective without giving too much context. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of parties involved.
Mhm.
I'm even doing it now. I would not have done what she did. Because even to this day, I just will not take it
Mhm.
there, because there's other people that are affected
Mhm.
past me. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
don't want that ripple to go out there and affect their lives, because at the end of the day, it's,
I mean,
it's on
I
a
get
very
you on that.
personal
Yes.
level, you know?
Like that's why I'm saying, like, I don't fault them for it. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand and I don't fault them, so I'm not labeling them or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, because I mean, when we were in the place that shall not be named, there were times where I had to decide if the complaint I'm going to get put against somebody, there's a chance they're going to lose their jobs, and I never wanted to do that.
I didn't even think about that.
It
Yeah, from
always
that point of view.
came to the point where if it was to the point where it's me or them, that's really the only time I put any complaints towards higher ups to other higher ups, because my first thought was, as frustrated and angry as I am with these people who are affecting me, I don't want to be the one that causes them to lose their job.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I don't want to deal with them, but I'm going to suck it up, because at the end of the day, we're just both working. It wasn't until it got to the point where it's like, it's you, this is what was said, and now you're on the verge of losing your job, where I had to be like, well, damn, here's everything that happened, type of thing. Now I gotta bring it up. But yeah, I get that, because I've had that mindset too, where it's like, as much as I want to, as much as I don't like them, my actions, what I do, could personally affect them, and I didn't like the feeling of knowing that I could be the cause of them losing their job, even though I would have liked them not to have that job anymore. I would prefer them not to have that job because they're moving somewhere else, or they've got another job. I don't want to be the reason why they were sent out on their ass, essentially.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what y'all had to say in the comments about this situation. Like, do y'all think that y'all could do something along those lines? Like, in this situation, if you were in this situation and you were the 17-year-old and you had the opportunity to essentially cause the person who participated with your parent to dissolve your family, would you take the opportunity to make them lose their job or something along those lines? Like, I just don't see me doing it as a child, as an adult. I don't see me doing it. You will never have access to me and mine.
For
but
sure.
I don't think I'm going to retaliate against you as the other person, because I get what you're saying with the whole, not absolving the woman or whatever, or the other person that's not your parent, of it, which I totally agree with. But I feel like a lot of times when it's a dad that cheats with another woman, that other woman gets the brunt of the consequences. And I just don't like that. Like, the dad should get all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are the one who was in the household lying to our faces, going out late at night. We wondering where you at. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you have the most immediate effect on us, and it's easy to divert that hurt onto somebody else when you have no love for them or anything at all. And I feel like that's what happens a lot of these times.
I agree with
you. From personal experience, it's just it. Anyway, on to the next story, girl.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That was a doozy. And I knew it was gonna be, soon as you said that time, I was like, God damn. Okay. I've got one for you. Are you ready?
I am.
It's a bit of a long one, so y'all strap in, get y'all drinks or whatever. Pause now, get your drink, because girl, we're waiting for a ride. Okay. 32-year-old female, just found out my husband, 33 male, has been having a fucked up affair / dynamic. What it is, it's cheating with the mom of our child's best friend. How do I stay calm before going nuclear? I had to read that extra slow because I had to read it like 3 times when I initially read it. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
but the mama baby's friend third. Like, I was very confused. I don't know why it confused me. Anyway, all of my this story is British as well. I don't know what the hell going on, but the Brits are all over Reddit recently. I don't know what's happening. So there's some words, some phrases in here, y'all, that it comes from the Brits. So she says, can't quite believe that I'm writing this, and apologies if some of this is too much for here. Right now, I couldn't face telling any of my friends and need help navigating the next 48 hours before I go absolutely ape shit. We moved here to a close um we moved here to be close to a good school for our child. We're in a nice estate. That's what they call houses. Isn't that cute? We're in a nice estate with the school being a few minutes away, walking. Our daughter is 5, and mostly my husband does the school runs and clubs. My work makes it hard for me to do so. He works from home 100% of the time. Our daughter's best friend also stays along the road, so mornings and house times they walk together. This is so cute. What is a house time? I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Uh, they also do a few clubs together. We sometimes meet up for soft plays, etc. at the weekends. So both my husband and I have the mother's number. She's very pretty, and initially I thought she was quite intimidating, but me and her actually got along really well, and we text often. Though I had made thought I had made a genuine friend in her. My husband texts her frequently as well, but he's never given me a reason to snoop. She's also married, but her husband is in the army and is gone for very long periods of time. I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've actually seen him home in almost 3 years. Just the beginning of this week, the doorbell app went off, and as I know my husband's home, I never, girl, this British is tearing me up, girl. It's tearing me to pieces. Okay. It's the way that they phrase it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just the beginning of this week, the doorbell app went off, and as I know my husband's home, I never really look at the notifications, but I accidentally opened the app instead of swiping the notification away. The app opened and I see him and her leaving our house, which I thought was odd. Next day, I pay more attention to this and notice that about 30 minutes before the school's due to finish, she just walks up and opens our door. I called him just saying I was bored and to see what he was up to. He said he was just trying to quickly finish work so he could be off to do the school run. I had a horrible feeling from here. That night, I plugged in our little camera that we had for our dog when he was a puppy, and then I put it across the doorway so it could pan across the room. Yesterday, like clockwork, she appears again, just walks right in. I quickly opened the camera app to see this woman forcibly push him onto the stairs, stand on the stairs up above him, pull her trousers down, and literally rub her ass up and down his face. I wish I was kidding. He clearly wasn't forced to do this, but he was definitely enthusiastic about the whole thing. But she really took charge. This was literally all that happened. I went to my car to watch for a solid 20 to 25 minutes, and all she did was make him lick her ass. They then composed themselves and left for school like nothing happened. I've never broken down like that in my life. When I got home, I told him that I was feeling ill and I was just going to bed. I skipped dinner, just laid in the bed, feeling every emotion. He eventually came to bed, and I waited until he fell asleep, grabbed his phone, and spent hours going through it. The upshot is there's some sort of Dom sub dynamic going on, and it's literally just what I saw them doing. There's no PIV. I don't know what that means. Oh, penis in vagina. Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh, I'm so dumb. Literally just came to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's no penis and vagina sex. He's not allowed to touch anywhere else, strictly her ass. It's been happening for most days, at least for months. She texts him telling him that she's on her way and that he better be ready. I have, however, seen texts of her saying that she will let him fuck her. But that's definitely something he's working towards. What the fuck? How on earth do you start something like that so quickly with someone who's been getting increasingly involved in our lives through our kids, no less? My mind is blown. I am so hurt, angry, embarrassed, and disgusted with him and her. Like, what do I actually do here? I can't stay with him, but now I need to move away from this area, uproot everything, move schools, just because those two live in some weird fantasy. I just watched her turn up at my house again today. I started to watch the camera in the house, but had to turn it off. I am so freaking angry. I'm going to go home to do the same as I did yesterday, and I plan to go nuclear on him tomorrow or Saturday. That's where, that way I can make plans for the upcoming school day on Monday. My mind just right now is saying that I'm done and there's no coming back from this. I don't know what steps to take to come out better from this situation. I have a few photos of the messages that I plan to take a lot more of tonight, and I'm going to work. Blah, 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 blah. Girl, we're gonna skip some of this. Do you have any advice on the best next steps? I would greatly appreciate any advice.
They are bold. When I say bold, because this lady walks up to this house, because at this point you got to know there's a ring camera right there. You walk up to this house and into this lady's house every day, and neither of you thought we have to make sure this is not footage that is on that shows you come into this house every day like this. That's bold. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, as much as I hate to say, I really don't have much advice on this, because I feel like you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. You've recognized that you can't be in this situation, and you are taking the steps. You're not overreacting in any way. Um, and you're doing what you need to do to get out of it. I mean, you're processing this information. It's like I said a couple of episodes, women will a lot of times, they'll internalize, they'll process it themselves while still in the situation. They'll grieve it, they'll make plans, and once they're ready, then they'll leave. They don't always just oh, you cheated, well, we're done, and then just figure out the consequences along the way. So I think you're doing exactly what I would do. You're processing it, you're grieving it, you're taking the time to understand what you're seeing and what's been going on, and to come to the realization that not only is your husband not who you thought he was, your new friend that you thought you were connecting with isn't who they really are. um it's hard, I'm sure, to have to look them in the face every day and pretend that you don't know what's going on, but I think that's a smart move. I would continue doing that. Make sure you're solid. That's really my only advice. Make sure you're solid. I know you want to confront him this weekend, but make sure you're solid. Make sure you have a plan. You know where you're going to go, or where he's going to go, whichever one. Have a backup plan. If he doesn't want to leave, then where are you going to go? Where are you and your child going to go? Contact a lawyer, contact your friends and family, anyone who's in the area that can help you, and get the evidence that you need. And once you know you're solid and you're good, the only other thing I could think of is maybe let your work know, hey, stuff's about to blow up. You don't have to let them know in detail, but stuff's about to blow up in my house, and I'm not going to be okay for a little while. So I need you to kind of keep an eye on me to make sure that I'm not slipping in any way. I don't want you to think, if something is going wrong, there is something going on in my life right now, and that's why it's happening. Those are the only steps I can think of, that maybe to take that extra little bit that you're already doing. But other than that, there's nothing else I can offer you other than
Yeah, get
once
you
you
the
get
best lawyer
yourself,
that you can afford.
yeah, once you're out of that situation, take your time to grieve, because I don't feel like you've had nearly enough time, but I understand needing to get out as soon as possible. Take your time to grieve, get you some therapy.
And then let me ask you this, piggybacking off of the last story. Since
Mm-hmm.
you have this footage in your archive, are
Mm-hmm.
you sending? You're the
100%.
wife.
Husband. What is it? Army platoon? 100% sending it to him.
No.
File.
Okay. Mm.
Next time he's in town, if I could, I'd just wait until the next time he's in town. That's when everything's going to blow up. It's going to give him plenty of time once he's in town, and me and him can do this together.
Now I'm with you on this one.
This
is a situation you're directly affected by this girl. This is you're an adult. Everybody's adults here. Great. Let's go ahead and matter of fact, do y'all have his postal code for wherever he's deployed to? Because I'll wrap this bitch in a nice little DVD. Matter of fact, let me just send him the Google the Google link.
Password, and I'll just send him the information. The password, I'll send it to him. I'll send
it to him in Google Drive. Exactly. Here you go, sir.
This is what happened. And if he's cute,
you know what? Because low key, I was like, depending on how freaky you are, this could be an opportunity. You might be like, bitch, I've been waiting for somebody actually like you, girl. We can all get in this together. Okay. I can get off on my lunch break and we can beat his ass up. Okay. He into that freaky shit. I don't know how freaky he get.
You're right.
But we can get in here and get the windmilling. Like, we can really tag team him. Yeah. I mean. So, girl, think of this as an opportunity. Wow. Can you imagine? Can you imagine getting on the camera and you just see a person straddling your significant other's face with a booty? And your significant other is just living. Like, you could have asked me to do that. You didn't have to go to this bitch. Like, what she got that I don't got? Now, she did say that the woman was attractive. She was a little intimidated. So this, maybe it's, you need to check the bank accounts. Is he paying her for this? Because in them dumb sub situations, them men be paying. You need to check them bank accounts because that may lead to murder. Because if I see a red cent missing out my motherfucking account and that they went to, because the adultery, bitch, I can get over eventually. But if you took a piece of coin out that joint account to get to this house, everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. I don't care because it's the principle of the thing. Okay. Not only did you cheat on me, bitch, you took my money to cheat on me. Now I'm part of it. Personally, I went to work. I paid for you to cheat on me, bitch. I wish I would. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, I would definitely love to know your guys' opinions about this. Let us know in the comments for sure.
Please do.
Okay. Now, this last story is an update from a previous story just a couple episodes ago. This was from the advice subreddit, and it says, update, my husband kept around another woman in case I passed. Do you remember this one?
Oh, I do.
Yes. So for just a quick recap, this woman married this man. Obviously he's from, some other religion than she's a part of, because his parents did not approve of her right off the bat. In fact, they tried to arrange a marriage, which he decided, no, like, this is the woman I want to be with. Unbeknownst to the woman, though, the parents kind of came to an arrangement where he would provide for this other woman, and essentially keep her on the back burner in case his now wife, anything ever happened to her, because she's had health issues. And from what it sounded like he really only did it so that he could keep his family in his life while also having his wife. Like, he had no intention of being with this other lady or anything like that. But he, like, from what I understand, I think if I remember correctly, he did cut his parents off at first. And then after they got married and everything like that, in order to have his parents back into his life, he had to provide for this lady. So it sounds like he doesn't have any sort of relationship with her in any way other than a financial one. But the OP found out about it and was very upset about it. So that was only a couple episodes ago. I don't remember specifically, but this one says, update, my husband kept around another woman in case I pass. My husband does not want to replace me. I think I was so upset when I wrote the first post that I truly believed he might eventually want to. Other than his parents not approving, we've never had big problems, other than small things like household stuff and finances. I believe him when he says his parents arranged everything against his wishes and he only complied to keep the peace. As some commenters suggested, we had a little time apart. He didn't want me to leave, but I insisted, and honestly, I think we've both struggled with it. He kept messaging me, and I couldn't stop thinking about him and our pets. We both cried when we came back together. We talked about his response to my initial confrontation, and he said he was dismissive because he couldn't believe that I was even considering my replacement to be true. He's never given me reason to believe he has been anything but faithful. He's a bit brain over heart sometimes, and when things hurt him, he shuts down like that and deflects. I couldn't see past myself to recognize it before. He apologized, and I did too. He also apologized for not being transparent. We're looking to be better in the future. We talked about what he actually paid for, and he said it was just her education. He showed me his finances, and we scrolled through about 1.5 years of transactions on his banking app. Everything looked fine, and he could explain anything I asked about. He also showed me his phone and social media. I'm very open with my stuff, but his phone is in his mother's tongue. He said it to English, and we looked through it together. Everything looked fine on there too. It's mostly family, friends that I know, stuff, and photos of us and our pets. He does have a work phone, and we looked through that too, and it was a lot of people I didn't know, but almost all were male names. He had a few photos and almost no apps work-related. He said he'd be more open with them if I wanted to look again later. As for a living situation, he paid for an apartment for his family to use when they visit their home country, and it was his parents who let her move in. Initially, he did not know this. They continue to use it, but he stays with his extended family when he visits. That's why his parents are close with her, because they see her at least once a year, and she takes care of them when they visit, I think as a thanks. He said he's only ever seen her on formal occasion. I asked why she isn't married, and he said he didn't know, but offered that she was studying some type of medicine, so maybe she's too busy. I asked him why he knew that, and he pointed out he paid for her degree. When I left, he messaged his parents to get her out and is already looking into selling the apartment. I said he didn't have to, but he said it was already in the works and it was his decision. We've been together for 18 years now, married for 11. His parents and family need to respect us, and said he told them as much. He apologized for how they've treated me, and it made me very emotional. He said he's willing to go low contact until they comply to his wishes. If they do not, he is happy to have his siblings and other family. Later, we talked about children, and he said that he doesn't think we're ready for them yet. It hurt me to hear this since we agreed we'd start trying at 30, but I can see what he means. I'm studying, and he's working full-time. Also, because of my many health issues, pregnancy could cause me lots of problems, and he cannot step away from work for too long to help. And unfortunately, schizophrenia is hereditary, and we don't want our children to inherit it. However, we've agreed to look into surrogacy using a donor egg in his sperm or adoption. He actually had already been thinking about it, and had some places he'd looked into. Our new plan is to wait until I graduate in 2 years, and we'll formally start the process, possibly of them both. I'm very excited. We're also discussed finances, and instead of me living off a credit card that he pays off, we have set up an account for me that is separate, and I will get some spending money. However, he said he wants to see my bank statements, which I think is fair since it's his money. I think this whole experience has been very eye-opening for us. It's definitely brought us closer together, and I'm very glad to have him. We're not perfect, but we work well together. I think this was a big misunderstanding. He loves me very much, and I love him. We're going back to couples therapy, and I am continuing with mine. There are some things we still need to work through, but we're both happy together and have reiterated our long-term commitment to each other.
I'm just going to say I'm glad it turned out well, because anything else I say would be problematic. Because it's a couple things in that letter that just ain't sitting right in my spirit, but I'm gonna let her have it. I'm glad that man has the patience of a saint. Because there's a couple of times in that letter where I believe that, you know what, actually, fuck it. Fuck it. No, I'm not. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to marry that other lady. Actually, just off of G. You know what? No, I'm not going to leave it alone. I'm gonna tell you exactly what rubbed me the wrong way, right? While I am glad, and I want to handle this with kid gloves because I didn't realize that her diagnosis was schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Because that does give context,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it explains some things because my initial reaction to her asking why he knew what field of study she was in, after already being confirmed that there was nothing going on between him and her, that would have pissed me off so bad. But she said that before she said she was schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
So when she said that, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
but that would have had me up in the middle of the night. Like I would have handled it in the moment. Like, why do you know what she's studying? Like Mom Lips would have bought because I am paying for her education, as we have iterated and reiterated many times. And I would have been up at 3 o'clock in the morning, fist in the covers like this, just staring at this ceiling like, I'ma leave this bitch. I'ma leave her. Like, why the fuck would you ask? We done been through all of this. We didn't come this far. Finally got back together, and you gonna ask me a stupid ass question like that? Like, oh my God. That would have been worse than anything for me. That would have been worse than you accusing me of having a woman waiting in the wings. Why would you say that to me right now? I done proved all of this to you, and you still like that would have shown me right then and there. There's nothing I can do to earn this woman's trust. There's nothing I can do. Like I can't help you with this new friend. We've been together all these years, and something like this can cause you to spiral like that. I mean, I get it. It looks suspicious. It look crazy. You ain't know. I have all the grace in the world for you. But when we actually work through this thing and are supposedly coming back together to reconcile and and you still hit me with questions like that, it's gonna have me second guessing wanting to jump back in this thing 100%. Because at the end of the day, girl, I ain't do nothing wrong. I didn't even know the bitch was in the house for the first while. Like, what you mean? And I don't give up. I don't give a good goddamn. If I tell you there ain't nothing in this motherfucking cellular, you better believe me. We're not sitting beside each other scrolling through each other's phones. If you can't trust me enough, to be like, you know what, I believe you. Why I got to scroll through all of my texts? Why I got to scroll through all my emails? Why I got to scroll and show you all of my bank statements and stuff? There is no relationship in the world. I ain't gonna hold you. Where I'm finna print out my bank statements from years past and itemize them with you. If you can't trust me past that, we don't need to be together. We don't need to be together. I ain't gonna hold you. This is what 18 years. Bitch, I guess it's down the drain. Cause if we been in this thing for this long and I ain't never done nothing to you, and I have already proven to you that I have nothing to do with this lady past paying for her education, awesome shit, so I could marry you, and I still have to open up my everything to you. It's not worth it to me. That speaks past what this is. You know what I'm saying? You don't trust me you don't trust me, period. No matter what I do, you always gonna be looking over your shoulder at me, and I'm not finna live like that. I'm not finna live laying next to somebody that I know don't trust me. Anything I do, you finna be suspicious of. And that little question of why do you know what her field of study is? That told me everything I needed to know. I'm on my way out of here. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. But I don't have it.
Yeah, I understand why they had to do all of that, because all of that is what made her feel comfortable enough to say, okay, nothing happened. Because at the end of the day, you did lie. You didn't tell her this woman is technically still kind of in our lives, in our atmosphere in some way, shape, or form for all these years. You're paying for her education, you're letting her live in the apartment, and that's how I'm finding out. Like that's all I know.
But would you
So
categorize that as lying though, Crystal? Because
yeah.
he's doing it for her.
Yeah, but
Like he didn't want her
I
to have to
still
deal with the parents not wanting
I
her
understand that,
to
but
be the
it's to
chosen
me
one.
it would still feel like a betrayal, still feel like lying, and I would need
I can see the
reassurance.
betrayal, but the
Yeah.
lie is I'm not lying to you, bitch. You
But
don't know.
but it feels like it. It feels like a lying by admission type thing. I think I would feel that way, and I would need that
Mm,
reassurance that everything is okay. I understand I get what you're saying too about the questioning. Like, I don't know if that was a knee jerk reaction. You also said she's also said she's schizophrenic, which they're known to have paranoia. And
exactly.
so it's like there is some grace to be had here too. And
Mm,
with him knowing her, that's probably why because he's been dealing it for so long.
exactly.
But I also can't fault her for needing, after all this, to needing to see all that for the reassurance. Now that you've seen all that and we've gone through it and you have your reassurance, then I do agree, like, okay, that's it. That's done. We're starting a new chapter. No more, trying to hide things from each other to protect each other or do this for each other. Like, we're a team, we're a partner. Like, let's, for real. Like, just as, he's saying, oh, we're going to open up an account for you, but I still want to see your statements. Fair, fine, cool. If you're going to have to pay for something for her for whatever reason, I want to know about it, type of thing,
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, there's still some things in here that I'm like, but at the end of the day, like, this, if they're happy, I'm happy for them. I'm glad you guys
And that's where I'm at with it.
came
And
to
that's where
what
I'm
you
at
came
with it.
to, and you
Mm-hmm.
guys are happy with your decision and you feel like you can move on from the situation. Yeah, good for you. Happy endings all around.
I'm happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. And
And
leave
I
it
hope,
at that.
I just hope
Yeah.
that y'all go into therapy and really
Mm-hmm.
work through these things and get to the root of these issues, because God bless your husband. He has the patience of a saint and I do not. So
Okay.
forth. But I mean, I don't know how much of that I would take in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You see where,
And we are
but it's
so
no,
thankful.
no,
Thank you
because
so
we finna
much.
discuss it. No,
Come
because
on. This is
girl, all right, I'm trying to give y'all a show, but Crystal don't. She don't want me. She don't want me to give y'all a show
because
tonight.
I
So
can feel like this is going to be something we're going to argue about 2 hours later, and I have dinner plans.
no. I'm. It's there is no argument here. I'm
Okay.
with you. I'm with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll leave it there.
I was
Thank
about
you
to
all
say,
for joining us
what?
for because now because I don't think we on two separate sides.
Okay.
We agreeing 100%.
Great. Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Make sure that you also leave us a written review. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe on the YouTube. Come and join the YouTube community. Speaking of YouTube, let us know what y'all think of this last letter. Because I want to know. Girl. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story or something that you see online, you can do so by sharing that in our DMs or sending it to our email. And that is tandcrystal@gmail.com. TEANDCRYSTAL@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast. and on Instagram at @TCrystalspod. And if I fuck that up, you can find all of the links in the descriptions wherever you are listening or watching. Now, Crystal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
No, definitely give us your opinions. Because I would love to bring some of your guys' opinions to the show. So if you have something that you want to say, please leave them in the comments so that we can pick through them and try and discuss them a little bit more in depth on a different episode. That'd be great.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.